Garden. We're going to do another live again today because, well, I just haven't felt like recording. Though I probably will record something later for tomorrow morning because, well, I need to work on my Softflex kit Surfs Up, which Softflex prefers recorded videos as opposed to live. So we will probably switch to that. Um, so I will probably record something for tomorrow. Today, I just didn't feel like getting up and doing anything yesterday after I got back from the doctor's. I did get the bandages off of my knee replacement as well as the staples out. But I will tell you that I was not feeling well at all when we got back. Hi, Deborah. It isn't a long drive down to Kalispell, maybe about 17 or 18 miles. Hi, Sid. But even so, I was not feeling good. By the time we got back, it was pretty painful. So I didn't do anything yesterday. But we are going to work on something today. I'm thinking we need to try and figure out something to do with tranquil tides here. I I haven't done anything with it at all, so I think that would probably. Hi, Marcia. How's your leg doing today? I was just saying that mine is better today than it was yesterday after I got home, but it's still a little painful today. But I am going to take one of my pain pills after the show here, and then after about a half hour after that, I will probably do my exercises and then go on to uh, do a recorded video with the Softflex kit Surfs Up. They have some really adorable little porcelain beach balls in here. Don't know if you can see them right here. And I was thinking I will make some simple earrings and maybe a bar necklace using those for our recorded video for tomorrow. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm not surprised, Marcia. Oh, you have in-home PT. Now, I wish I could say the same, but we don't have that here. Um, they did have me do some exercises at the hospital before I left. And then they gave me a booklet with various exercises they wanted me to do before I could get into um, at least 2 to 3 times a day before I could get into the regular physical therapist here. Unfortunately, our physical therapists are really, really busy, and they couldn't get me in until the beginning of July, which is like still a couple more weeks out, which is like, supposed to have been doing them already, been going to them this week. But unfortunately, my prescription didn't go through, and so I had to have them resend it from the doctor's office. So, mm, kitty hair. So, yeah, it's going to be hurting, Marcia. I don't know if you had your other one done or not before, but um, day 3 through 5 are the worst, and then it starts to get better. But then when you do other things like me driving in the car, hi Charlie, um, yesterday I ah see there you go. So I guess in a way I had in home PT too because they gave me a list of exercises to do twice a day. I just didn't have anybody come in to help me with them. So, and unfortunately, mine's going to be 4 weeks because, like I said, I couldn't get into the physical therapist before then. Um, we are pretty busy up here with physical therapy, apparently. So, which surprised me because I've only ever had physical therapy once before, um, and uh, and I got in right away that time, and I got in like 2 or 3 times a week. So I think we're gonna take out our Tranquil Tides kit here and see what we can figure to do with it. I haven't really we looked at it obviously when we did the unboxing, but I haven't really done any real studying on it to see if there was anything in particular I thought we wanted to work with. I'm thinking we'll use our little pendant here. Hey, Dorothy. And so I'm thinking, since we do have the little this little pendant, and frankly, it's the only pendant that I really want to use right now. The only other one they had was, of course, our little octopus, and I'm very afraid that his little legs will break off when we use him. So I am going to, and of course, we have also got the seahorses, the Lampwork seahorses, and the fish. These ammonites, they're plastic, if you ask me. They say I think they said that they were imitation or something, but I have started painting mine, so it takes that bright out of it. I haven't painted but a couple of them yet so far, so I didn't figure we'd work on those. But I'm thinking this little necklace is, this little pendant, small enough that I'm going to probably want to have a relatively delicate. You agree with me, Charlie, that it's plastic? I'm pretty sure it is. It feels like plastic to me. It seriously feels like plastic. What does it say? It says synthetic coral. Yeah, well, their synthetic coral is plastic. So anyway, I figured we'd use this little pendant, so, since that is what they provided us with. And but I want to make it relatively delicate because that's a small pendant. It's not very big. And so so I'm thinking these, maybe one or two of these, just to bring the color up into the necklace. Though we could do that with the Hishis, which might be a better fit. We'll see when we get that far. And then, of course, I'm also going to want some contrast. So I'm thinking the moonstone. We do have the these swirly spacers. I'll probably use some of those. Can't really see them, can you? There we go. And some bead caps. We'll see what we want to do with these. And obviously, we could flip in a few other things if we really wanted to. We have these wonderful connectors here, which I think are just gorgeous. And if we wanted to, we could take it about halfway up with the beads and then put the chain on the other side. And it's got the chain, the magnetic clasp is in there. It's got it all gathered up. Actually, I guess there's two magnetic clasps in there. So let's pull one of them out, put it back in the box. So we also, of course, have these little guys if we wanted to use these. So we're gonna turn down here, and I think we will use two of our connectors. So since there's four, we can use the other ones for some earrings that maybe will match a little bit. But we're not going to worry about that today. And so let's turn down. I've got all these wonderful goodies out here, and we will decide what we're going to do here. I know I need more spacers than I pulled out here, because I'm a spacer freak. You know, everybody who works with me very much knows that I have a real thing for spacers. Have to have them. Though these spacers are a little bit bigger than what I want for this particular piece, I think, because these are pretty good sized spacers. And I don't want anything really huge because, like I said, I want it to not be overpowered, the little pendant, by the pieces that we use. And by the way, Charlie, I've got to say, I have been loving the pieces that you have been putting up. I think they are gorgeous. And I'm sure most of the ladies all agree with me on that. Now I'm going to, if I can find one I like here, we may just use this ball. We'll see. see, do I have any I like better over here? No, I don't. I don't have very many old copper, of the antique copper bales, and I do not like the bale that's on it. I'm sorry, it just sucks. And so I won't be using that. So looks like the only copper ones I have sitting here are these little ball bells, which are pretty cool. So I think we'll use that. And I'm going to take this one off of the pennant because this one that's on the pennant sucks. So we will do that. Oh, cool. That is wonderful, Charlie. That sounds like fun. So 6 of your ladies are going on a cruise. So are the necklaces and the sets you made all for your ladies? Because they were gorgeous sets. Charlie does not have a channel, Marcia, that I know of. She posts her pieces on the Beadbox Bargains Creative Corner. That is what it's called, isn't it? Creative Corner? The Creative Corner. And she's got some beautiful pieces. I am always just amazed at what she comes up with. And they are just gorgeous. Now I'm going to back myself up here because I've got my spacers right here. And I want some little spacers that we can put with the antique copper pieces here. And let's see, what do I want to use? Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of antique copper spacers, except for flower spacers. I have a lot of those, and that might be what we end up using. Here, sit there for right now. Though they won't work for everything. So I'm thinking I'm fairly positive I have some daisy spacers in here, in my antique copper stuff. I just have to find the right tube. So I tend to keep daisy spacers in just about everything, so there should be some here. Wow, getting a little low on them. I'm going to have to get me some more. So we have some spacers. And let's see what we can do with this baby. Oh, Charlie, that would be wonderful if you had a channel. You have some wonderful, wonderful pieces. I am always just amazed by Charlie's ingenuity when she puts something together. It's just spectacular. So I definitely encourage everybody to go over and check out her stuff on the Beadbox Bargains website, or the what do they call their group there? It's Come on, where is it? It's on the Beadbox Bargain site. Bargain Beadbox Creative Corner. And if you've never been over there, I really encourage you to go over and check that out. So anyway, let's turn down. We'll look at what I've got sitting here, and we'll start creating something. I'll need to get some wire. I think we'll go with, well, no, that's not lapis. That's black. We want lapis. Here we go. We're going to go with lapis softflex because, well, you know, blues. So let's turn down. You're not a teacher, thou? I could have my own store for spacers. Well, no, because then I'd run out. I have to have my spacers. So so let's turn down and we'll start designing this. It's just going to be simple. As I said, I don't want anything big and too much because we're going to we don't want to overpower our little tiny pennant. And I'm going to try and raise this just a teeny bit. There we go. That's not bad. We've got our lapis. We've got all these little spacers here. We've got our 2 end pieces. I am pretty sure I want to take it's getting wrapped around my finger. And there's that other. I'm thinking I want to take our chain and our connectors here, and we're just going to finish it up with the chain, and then of course we have this this magnetic clasp here for the back. So we're going to put these aside again because we're not going to need them for a while, as well as these little guys. They're going to be at the end. First thing I'm going to do is take this. I don't like these bails like this. They're too easily removed. And see, I just did it by hand. I didn't even use any tools to take it off. So I don't want that on there. Mine is a little bent, but it's not horrible. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So then we're going to put this on this guy here. Now I will warn you, these smaller beads will go straight through this bail, and I might just intentionally use these down here so that it will go through and I don't have to worry about it running around anywhere else. And because I want these colors up a little bit, I want to pull this up here. We're going to start that way anyway. I want it to be, that looks so silly, little lump of wire and chain there. So I'm going to cut this. And what I want to do, like I said, is we're going to put like 4 or 5 of them down here. Oh, that's 6. And we're going to let this one, the one, go right through. See, it's going to go right through, no problem whatsoever. And so we're going to put this so it sits in the middle of these. And we'll have a few on either side. Maybe we'll even put 7 here so we have 3 on either side. Then we're going to want to start pulling in our other beads. And I really love this color of crystal. It's very pretty. We have our moonstone here as well, which of course just wrapped itself up with the crystal. I guess it likes the crystals too. So we have our moonstone, these these crystals, our He-She, and our, I'm not going to use a lot of these. I want these to pull up the color of our pendant up into the necklace. But because I want a relatively delicate necklace, because like I say, this pendant is small. It's not one of the big chunky ones. It's pretty small. And you don't want the necklace, you know, the beaded portion of your necklace to overpower it. See how this would more or less overpower this, in my opinion, because it's too big. So it'll go over here, and we're just going to put, you know, a few of those in every once in a while to bring the color up into the necklace. So what I'm probably going to do here now is put a couple of spacers. Actually, I should have got the ball spacers out too, because I do have some copper ball spacers. But do like this. It's weird, these don't usually have these strands in a circle, but this is the second one of these that are. But my daughter was laughing at me this morning because I was getting really seriously ticked at UPS. I got a delivery notice that I had a package that was delivered yesterday, and I do not. And so I called them to talk to them about it, and those automated systems are just horrible. I think they should be outlawed. So anyway, so I think I like the 3 and 3. I'm not going to put spacers between these little guys, but I am going to between the crystals here. So, and then we'll decide what do we want to put next. Maybe just like one moonstone. I don't think I want a lot, just maybe just one to again bring the color, this color around, especially since it is more or less the same color as our crystals, just a little different, but you know, it's a stone, it's going to be different. So and then maybe some He-She, and then maybe another moonstone, and then one of these guys, I think. But then we do have to decide what we're going to do as far as the bead caps are concerned. 2 bead caps is too much on this this moonstone. 1 would be all right, I think, on one side, but 2 would be too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some line out, and I'm just going to work off the spool. We're just going to get some of our lapis line here. And I'm just going to start by putting what we have fixed here onto the line and see how it looks. I'll be the first to tell you that I don't always like how I start something, and I'll end up pulling it apart. And, you know, it's just the way it goes. And sometimes that's what you got to do. Let's see, do I like that on there? No, it's too big. Let's check with one of, I'm not sure if I'll like those with the big ones or not either, but we'll see. Let's see about these other little flower bead caps I brought, if they'll look better on here. Let's just go down the line, see what happens if I decide I like it or not. And maybe we'll put one of the daisies here too. I like frequently to add multiple spacers because it adds that little bit of extra oomph you need sometimes. So. And I like sets of 3 beads. I don't know, it's just one of my personal preferences. So now I put 2 spacers here to go into the little guys here. And we're just gonna do all the little guys up. And because I'm well aware that these will slide into our bail here, I'm not real worried about putting the bail on until we get these guys on. So we'll put this bail on now. And its normal spot to sit is there, but it will slide over here or over here because there's nothing really holding it there. Usually if I want to make sure it stays in one particular spot, I will put a larger bead on either side so that it can't roll around too much, but I'm not worried about it rolling around here. So now you can sit to the side because you're going to be the other side of hook onto the bail. Now I'm not going to make this a long necklace, probably about 20 inches maybe, because of the fact that I do want a more delicate necklace. And so now here's our question of what we're going to do now. We got our hishis we can put in here. Or we could just go straight to one of these guys. I think I'll put a little length hishi on and see what that looks like. Well, first we need a spacer though. Do we want to try one of these guys? Yeah, that might work good. Let's see. So we're going to cut our thread here. Hey, Cynthia. Hi, Georgina. So I'm just going to grab off a few. See, it looks like I have 6. We'll go for 7. Let's cut these open and see if this will work here now. With this bigger bead cap. yeah, so far so good. I think I like it so far. Now, when you're beading something, I'm going to be the first to tell you that it's a personal preference how you do things. So we need some more of our hishis, because I'm going to now reverse this pattern right here. I think I put an extra one in here. Nope, I got 7, just the right amount. Now, when you're pulling little beads off the strand like this, it is so much simpler if you can just grab them like I did and just put them the straight line on. It makes a much easier way to line them up. So we're right here. And if we're going to put the chain in the back, we have to decide how far up we want it to go before we put our chain in the back. So, or when we get to that point, are we even going to want to put chain up the side? That is the big question right there. I love this slate color of crystal here. I think it's so pretty. So now we're right here. So we're going to put on 2 more of our daisy spacers and then 3 of our little fellows like this. Where's your end? What did I do at the end? Looks like a little snake. It just keeps going around. It's got, well, there, found the end. Not the way I wanted to because I splattered beads everywhere, but found it. Now we'll reverse this back this direction again, and I will probably then check its length, and if we want to, then we'll decide if we want to put the chain in the back or if we want to just keep going with the beading. As I said, I'm not going to make it atrociously long because I only want, I think, about 20 inches. But I do have to watch it for my copper daisy spacers because I only have so many. Oop. But hey, Nicole. Hey, Donna. Let's see. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need one more. 7. And I actually think this is getting a little long, relatively long on this side because we're going from here to here. So we are right here. So we'll get our moonstone on. Oop, come here, moonstone. And then our, what did they call this? Blue spot jasper? Is that what they called this pretty blue bead here? So we're right here. And we would be putting the hishis in again right here. Oops, needed one more. Oh, and there's the 7. Now I'm going to get another bead stopper here. And we're going to see about how long this is getting to be from here to here. And I'm thinking it's maybe even longer than I want it right now. Looks like 11 inches. So I think we're going to just bead it all and not put the chain on because I think I'm liking it and I don't think I want to disrupt my pattern here. So I think we're going to cut an even amount of wire to the other side and just finish stringing this like this. I like this pattern. So so we'll just get some more line out here, get it cut, and go on the other side. So our middle is right here. So we want about that much line. Now I'm probably cutting a little more line than I need, and I'd rather have too much than not enough, so that's fine. So now we're just going to reverse this and just go up the other direction. Now I'll flip you around, and we'll take this guy off. And we're probably going to need to get some more, well, we're definitely going to need to get some more of our spacers out because I only have 2 more here. So we're going to use that one right now. Seven hishis. Perfect. Then, of course, we're here again. Whoop, come here, you. With our moonstone. Oh, I just noticed something. Look at that. I've got a boo-boo right here. Either I need to go in and take and put these other spacers in here, here, and here, or I need to take this one out. The easiest thing would be to take that one out. But the thing is, I sort of like it in there. So boom, 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 boom. So I'm going to have to make the decision if I like it enough that I want to pull the other side apart to put it back in, or if it can stay out. So there it is, here to here. I do think I like that second bead cap in there though, so I think we're gonna probably pull the other side off. We'll finish this side and then pull the other side off to get the put those in back in, because, well, it's a necessity. They're needed if we're gonna keep that up. Let's see, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put a 6th one out there just to be on the safe side. And then I just need a few more of these. Since we're not going to use the chain, I'm going to put it away as well as these guys. Come on, let go. I like it better with the spacer in too, Charlie, and that's why the spacer's staying in, and I am just going to have to restring the other side to that point. But first I'm going to do this side so that I don't mess the pattern up and forget where I'm at. So, which is an easy thing to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. So I do like to do this so that when I'm working, I can just watch the other side as I'm working and make sure that I'm making it the same. Like I said, we're already off because I have to get these fixed here, but I was going to say, in all actuality, it might be easier to just to pull this off right now and do it instead of having to do the whole thing here, but I think I'm probably at about the same distance now. So it doesn't really make much difference. It's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other kind of thing. Right here. But I'll be the first to tell you, if something's not working for you, go ahead, pull it apart. You don't have to have it exactly as you started. And even if you were to have if I had designed this on paper instead of on the fly, and I had decided, oh, I don't really care for that, I would still pull it apart and do it more of something that I like. And that is the beauty of stringing. You get to pick you get to decide what you want to do. It's your design. It's not somebody else's. And if it's just not working for you, by all means, don't say, oh, well, I've already started it. It's got to be that way. It doesn't. Nothing has to stay the same. Like I say, it's your design, your preferences. You're making it. The only time when I don't believe in that way of thinking is if you're making it for somebody else specifically, and they have requested something. Even so, I've been known to um, string things 2 or 3 different times and show them my customer that I'm making something custom for. Okay, here's your choices. I've got it made this way or this way or this way. Which do you prefer? Um, and a lot of times they will go with my secondary thought of that I've gotten to by oh, I don't think that worked for me the first time, even though that's what we designed. I don't think that is really working for me. And so then I'll redo it. So now we're at our 7 hishis. I think I'm 1 shy. Yep, and get it after a bit. Need 1 more. Oops. I like this blue and white stone. I don't know why. It looks a lot like sodalite, but it's not. It's got more of the whitish gray color than sodalite has. And I need a few more of these. Okay. Right there. This is what I'm looking for. And then our hishis. And I need 1 more. So there we are. Let's put the bead stopper back on this side again, and we'll measure it again to make sure it's about what I want. And like I said, we're going to go back over to the other side and fix this. But we want it about, see, it's going to be about 22 instead of the 20 that I was originally working towards, but that's all right. I can live with that. So we need to take this apart right here, get these other spacers in, and then we need to put our pendant on the bottom and finish her up. So I'm just going to take this undone like this and then just carefully pull this string back. There we are. And then we'll start restringing this. Come on. Okay, so again, we're right here, and we're back into having our pieces in place. I do like that second spacer a lot better than not having it in there. So I had planned on having a recorded video for yesterday so that we wouldn't have a skipped day. But after I finished over here on Monday, I went into the bedroom to lay down on the bed to do my exercises, and one of my kitties had a little accident, so to speak, on my bed, and I didn't notice it till I sat right in it. So that was a lot of fun. And the sad part is I just cleaned up a vomit from the floor in here too. So it was like, who has a tummy ache? So here we are right here. Now, either you ladies are being very quiet or my comments have stopped coming up. Could be either. So. But never ever be afraid of saying, nope, that's not working for me. I think I need to go and redo something or try something else. Because sometimes you'll come up with something you really love if you just give it a little bit more of a chance. Let's see, I think that's an extra. You're just being quiet and watching. Okay. At least the internet seems to have stopped acting up so much. It was acting up pretty good the other last week, and I think it was because of the solar flares we had not that long before. So let's compare now side to side again. So we've got everything here. Wouldn't that just be sad if I missed something again and had to go and pull it apart again? Okay, we're looking good. So I'm going to sort of scoop some of these things out of our way. Now we still could have put the magnetic clasp on here, and I may just get that to put on there since there were two of them. Pull it out of this pile of chain here. And so what we need now is a jump ring for down here. And then we need to get my copper crimps here. And this is pretty darn lightweight, so it doesn't need any extra crimps. So we're going to get the crimps out, Rose, before you start pulling things apart. Now, copper crimps tend to have a wider wall than you went and got some rat tail yesterday, Nicole? That is so cool. Thanks, Tina. I didn't notice you come in. You must have snuck in past me there. Of course, I was working, so, wasn't paying attention to you guys as much as I should. This bottle feels funky, like it has something on the bottom of it. Whatever, as long as it's not broken, that's fine. So we'll get one of you guys. And I am going to jump ring the magnetic clasp on. And I do that for 2 reasons. Okay, this doesn't want to go through this, so the Hishi, which I was afraid of. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get this swirly bead back, another one of those back out. And they don't have to go through the beads. I just like them to go through the beads. You can cut it off right at the edge and not go through any of the beads, but I like to because I think it well, for one thing, you don't have the cut wire right there then, which sometimes, if you're not careful, can get a little scratchy if you don't get it cut really good. So I'm going to pull this out right here. And we're just going to crimp this right here at the end. And then I'll cut the excess wire and we'll roll the necklace around so that there's no gaps. Now this is a magical crimper. You just put your crimping tube right inside that little divot and just lightly squeeze and go around a few times until it doesn't squeeze anymore. That looks like it's pretty tight. So we're going to get our clippers out, flush cutters, whatever you want to call them, and cut this off right here, right as it comes out of this bead. Now we're going to roll all these around to this other side here. And we're going to put this bead back on this side. And then our tube. These are 2x2 crimp tubes. That's the only size that the magical crimper will accept and do a good job on. So just so you know, if you want to do a magical crimper and you haven't before, you do have to have 2x2 crimps. And you don't want cheap ones. The cheap ones, you can actually break with your magical crimper. I've done it before. Actually, I used to break crimps with it when I got unhappy with something. I don't do that anymore because, well, they won't. These crimps are pretty strong and they just won't break. So you got to put your crimp tube right in the middle of that divot and just squish lightly, turn it, squish, and just keep turning and squishing until it doesn't squish down anymore. So there we go. Now you see there is a little bit of a gap of space here. That's all right. If you actually really, really hate having that little teeny gap of space there, you can always put a crimp cover up there. But there we go. There is the base of our necklace. We just need to get some jump rings and put on our magnetic clasp, and our pendant. Oh, well, that is cool. We can make another macrame design one of these days. This one that I made the other day with the silver rat tail and the fossil coral, I am going to give it to my doctor's assistant. I showed her a picture of it and she just loved it. So I was like, well, you know what? I will just give that to her because she's a really cool lady. She's the one who took my staples out yesterday, and she's really nice. So anyway, we need some jump rings. Oh, I have a jump ring tube open here. That's weird. Close. So we'll come down here to our copper ones and we'll get 3 out. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, moving my leg a little bit. It was being getting a little tired down there. So no big deal. So just open these up with our little twisting motion. Go down here and we'll grab the bail and then our pendant. Pendant on. Now we'll put our magnetic clasp on here. Now, if I weren't using this magnetic clasp, I'd be using probably a large lobster claw because, well, I like a large lobster claw because of my older hands. Let go, baby. Now, you can leave these closed when you put these on, and if it ends up being sort of twisted when you get to the other side, it's a simple matter of just unhooking your magnet, straighten things up, and hooking it back up. Very simple. So there we go. She's all done. Now, when you're doing these magnets, I always advise you to slide them rather than trying to pull them apart because sometimes they just jam up. And so, and they don't want to. So there we go. There is our necklace all finished. I think it turned out pretty nicely. The chakra bracelet. No, we didn't end up doing a chakra macrame bracelet because I discovered that all of my chakra beads, I have them in numerous colors and such, were all small hole. They weren't large hole. So instead of making a macrame chakra bracelet, we made a lava stone one. So there's that one. And then because I was wanting to show you ladies the differences of what you could do, I made this little one with the adjustable chain in the back. So this is a very delicate little one, but I think it really does the trick. Incidentally, for those wondering, we had a question on Friday when we made these, asking about could you use multiples of the chakra beads. And you know, I wasn't sure exactly of the answer to that because even though I've made chakra bracelets and I wear one generally, I hadn't ever really studied the symmetry and stuff of chakra that much. So I inquired of my sister. My oldest sister was a yoga teacher for quite some time. And she told me that yes, you could do multiples, but if you were doing multiples, you either wanted to do the one row of 7, then a next row of 7, or you wanted to do your 7, but you wanted to do 2 or 3 of each bead, and you had to have the same number of each color. So I hope that answered that question for anybody else who was wondering about it. So there we go. There's our little necklace. Let's turn up. So anyway, I think it turned out really pretty. There it is. And like I say, we've got a delicate enough strand that it doesn't overpower our little pendant. And I do believe it's going to end up having being about 23 inches. Let's see, what do we got down there? Oh, that's the one. That's what we got down there. So it is a little over 22 inches with our clasp in place. So, but I think it's going to be a pretty good length. So there we go. There she is. So, and we've hit our hour. Actually, we've hit over our hour. What is this? That's a real surprise, right? But yeah, it is a little longer. Well, actually, I used to only make 18-inch necklaces, but lately I'm finding myself making them longer than that. And I guess it just depends on my mood and how the beads want to flow, what length I decide it needs to be. Like I said, I wanted this to be about 18 to 20 inches because of the fact that I was making it more delicate, but it works perfectly well at 22, so I'm not too worried about it. Oh, you finally got this bargain bead box, Georgina? That's cool. For those of you who don't know, Georgina is in Saskatchewan, right, Georgina? And so her box unfortunately takes a lot longer than ours do to get to her. So hi, Dorothy. So so there's our little necklace. I think it turned out really nicely. And even though I did put some of the larger beads in, it because I only put the 4 in, it didn't overpower our pendant, which is when I'm using a smaller pendant, that's the thing I always try to consider is the beads that you're using in your main part of your necklace, are they going to overshadow your pendant? Is your pendant going to be big enough to stand up to what you put above it? And that's a pretty important thing you need to think about, because if I was to use all the big beads with this little pendant, the pendant would sort of disappear into the matrix, so to speak, of the necklace itself, because it wouldn't have enough power to bring itself out, if you can understand that. It's a sort of convoluted comment, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. But so there we go. Aren't those? I think it turned out really pretty. I really like it. I'm glad I went back and put the extra bead cap in. I know there was a few of you who came in late, and I had started this with the second bead cap here, and then I went up the other side and realized when I started the second side that I'd only put the second bead cap on this spot and not the rest of the way. So so I did decide I liked it better with the 2 bead caps, so went back and we pulled the second side back apart, or the original side back apart, and added the second bead cap in there for that extra little bit of oomph. I'm a big believer in multiple spacers. it's not something you just, oh, I can only put one spacer here, or none at all, or whatever. No, you can put as many spacers as you want. I have made things that have more spacers than beads, and sometimes those patterns are really pretty. So, it's just a matter of preference and a matter of how does it look to you? Does it work for you, or does it seem like it's, well, overpowered by something else? Um, so that's just something to think about when you're making things. Look at them, see what they're doing for the overall pattern. Is it being too much? Is it being too little? Um, so so yeah, to me, spacers are very important. I'm jokingly called the spacer queen by some people, and it's true. I think I have always been of the opinion that your spacers are necessary, but it's not the truth. You don't have to put a spacer in, um, especially if you're knotting. I don't knot. I mean, not very rarely anyway. I do upon occasion, but it's a rarity because I I'll be the first to admit that my knotting is not perfect. I don't. I tend to leave too much gap. Um, thank you, Nicole. I'm glad you agree with my wanting to go back and fix that extra spacer in there. I think it really made a mark, so to speak. So anyway, I enjoyed making this necklace. I think it turned out really nice. I really had no idea what I was going to do with it when we started. I just know we wanted to make something with our little pennant. And sometimes that's the way it works best for you. Just take some stuff out and go, well, what do you think? Will this work? Will that work? And put them on your mat. And you don't have to use everything you put on your mat. And like I said, even if you've designed the piece originally, you don't have to. You don't have to make it exactly the way you designed it. I frequently say the beads talk to me and they tell me what they want to be. And if I started out and they decide they don't like that way of being, they will change themselves. So, uh, yeah, exactly, Nicole. They make a new bead-like structure by putting them back to back like that. And I love a double bead cap. And you could get double bead caps that are already doubled up, but you'll never get a double one that's got a smaller and a larger. And that's what I like about doing it this way, is because you can get the smaller and larger, and you change that look so much by just having that extra little bead cap in there. So anyway, ladies, we're going to go for the day. I will probably have a recorded video for tomorrow. But if you're a member of my group, you'll of course we'll have the members live tomorrow afternoon, and then of course we'll have our live on Friday as well. I will tell you that we've lost a couple of members. We had 26, we're down to 24 now, which saddens me because I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you didn't want to stay with me, but that's the way it goes sometimes. I do have some more mugs that I had decided when we hit 50 members that I'd give away another mug. We'd have another drawing for another mug. So if anybody knows of anybody who might want to join us, I'd love to have them. Anyway, we're going to go for the day, like I said, and I am going to go take my pain pill so that I can prep myself to doing my exercises today because, well, got to do my leg exercises. And then I will be doing a recording with the Softflex's kit, Surfs Up. We'll be doing that later on. They've got some pretty cool beads in here, but I really like these little beach balls that are right here. So I think I'm going to make a bar necklace with the beach ball and and some earrings to match for our recorded video later. So for tomorrow, though, of course, for members, they'll get it early because that is one of the perks of being a member. You get the recorded videos early. So we're going to go for the day. It's 1:15, and I will see the members live tomorrow. And if you're not a member, I will see you live on Friday, hopefully, same time. So we'll talk to you later. Dorothy, you dropped a one that you didn't really care for, and you ended up doing an entirely different design. Yeah, sometimes that's the way. Your beads told you they don't want to be that way, so they're making sure you change them up. So anyway, we'll see you guys all later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye.